Hi, welcome to my views and news. Three news stories. First one is about Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki, who is attending a summit in Nairobi, Kenya today. He departed Asmara this morning. What is the agenda of the summit? It's a very interesting summit, viewers. Some environmentalists have been opposing this summit, which is being held in Nairobi, Kenya. Secondly, according to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Eritreans are going to be deported. Benjamin Netanyahu has shared a number, how many Eritreans are going to be deported. And secondly, some very disturbing videos are being shared in social media showing that Israeli police used excessive force against Eritrean protesters. The protest happened on Saturday. Thirdly, North Shewa zone of the Amhara region, after relative calm for a few days in North Shewa since yesterday, for around 48 hours, clashes have been ongoing in two locations in North Shewa. Firstly, viewers, Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean president, departed Asmara today for Nairobi on the invitation of Kenyan President William Ruto. Isaias Afwerki is visiting Nairobi. What is the purpose of this visit? After the signing of Pretoria deal, suddenly we saw that Isaias Afwerki resumed his foreign trips as if he came out of a shell. He visited Saudi Arabia, he visited Egypt, he went to China, he went to Russia, he went to Kenya. Kenyan president reciprocated. William Ruto visited Kenya, Eritrea, and now again he is visiting Kenya to attend a summit in Nairobi. In Nairobi, Kenya, Africa Climate Summit is being organized jointly by African Union and Kenyan government. It's a very interesting summit. What is the agenda? And around 20 African leaders and international organizations, foreign diplomats are attending this summit. Is PM Abiy there? I could not confirm. I'll update in coming videos. Isaias Afwerki was specifically invited by William Ruto. That just shows that there are good relations between Ruto and Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean president. African countries say that they are the victims of climate change related disasters. Droughts, floods, which are creating damage and destruction in Africa, are not caused by African countries. Rather, those countries which have big industries and those who have big share in carbon emissions, they are responsible for this climate change, which is leading to disasters in Africa. So they want relief from Western countries, from those countries which are industrialized countries. That is why this summit is being held. Kenya taking the lead. Kenya wants to be main beneficiary of this summit. So those countries whose share of carbon emissions is big, they're investing in different projects in Africa. Green projects like conservation of forests, projects like planting of trees, etc. Lots of projects. Kenya and African countries, they want to have share of this green investment being done by big companies which are responsible for carbon emissions. Kenya taking the lead, Ethiopia nowhere to be seen. Ethiopia, before the start of war, was one of the main countries in this region. But gradually, Kenya has taken Ethiopian place. Now, Ethiopia is not a rival to Kenya because there are so many internal problems in Ethiopia that it is very difficult for Ethiopian government to project itself as a key player in this region. Isaias Afwerki invited all African countries want investments from Asian, European, American investors. Meanwhile, some environmentalists are protesting. They are against this conference. They say that Africa should demand reduction in carbon emissions by those countries whose share of carbon emissions is big. Rather, Africa wants its debts to be rescheduled, its debt to be cancelled. Africa wants investment. Africa is not demanding a cut in carbon emissions. So they are protesting. Let's see which country leaders are going to attend this summit in Nairobi, Kenya. What will Kenya get? What will Eritrea get? But Eritrea-Kenya relations very good these days, especially Ruto Isaias Afwerki relations. Isaias Afwerki is accompanied by his foreign minister Usman Saleh too. Secondly, viewers, Israel, where 2 days ago there were a clash between Eritrean pro-democracy and pro-Eritrean government protesters. More than 100, including police officers, were injured there. Police used force, excessive force there. Several videos are being shared and graphic videos I cannot show you here. Those protesters are being beaten, harshly beaten, which they can be seen beaten, which were unarmed. They had nothing in their hands, but they were just singled out, and Israeli soldier was just thrashing them. One video shows an Israeli soldier severely beating an Eritrean while his colleagues are stopping him. That is what happened. It's not good to see, honestly. It's painful to see, obviously, that Eritreans are suffering. They are fleeing their country. Why? Because there is no respect for human rights, no freedom to protest, freedom of expression, freedom of media. Even in some cases, freedom of religion too restricted. They are fleeing abroad, and obviously their status abroad also goes through several challenges. It's difficult for them to survive, and it takes a long time to be permanent citizens of a country. And countries like Israel are not giving permanent residency status to Eritreans and other African migrants. Netanyahu yesterday made it clear that around 1,000 Eritreans would be repatriated, or you can say they would be deported. And these are those 1,000 Eritreans who were involved in Saturday's clashes in Tel Aviv. So hard times ahead for Eritreans living, staying in Tel Aviv in Israel. Eritrea-Israel relations have not been very friendly, by the way, viewers. Last year, if you remember, Israel announced some reports were shared that Israel was planning to close its embassy in Asmara. Why? Because Eritrean government was not allowing Israeli ambassador to take charge in Asmara. So relations not good. That is why maybe Netanyahu yesterday said that those Eritreans who support those Eritrean migrants who support Eritrean government, they should go to Eritrea. They have no right to claim asylum in Israel. So Netanyahu's government was waiting for some opportunity to deport migrants, Eritreans and others. They have got this opportunity now, and now they're going to deport thousands, I think, in coming days. Let's see, will the Eritrean refugees there get some relief from a court? Will UN step in? That remains to be seen. Thirdly was North Shewa zone of the Amhara region. Relative calm there last week, but things changed around 48 hours ago, and clashes are being reported in and near Majate. Majate is one of those areas which is seen as a stronghold of Fano fighters in the vicinity of Majate. Fano fighters are based and very organized. Majate and Rasa Fano fighters in North Shewa are organized, and they're skilled fighters. And military is trying to now go after Fano fighters where Fano fighters are based. That is why around a week ago there was fighting near Rasa too, and now fighting near Majate. Heavy clashes went on for several hours. No details of casualties or losses suffered by the two parties, but residents say that the fighting clashes went on for several hours. Pro-Fano accounts claiming that Ethiopian military suffered heavy losses. Military is silent. We don't know what is situation on the ground, because all main towns along the road, Dassi to Addis Ababa road, are under the control of Ethiopian military. Debre Sena, Debre Birhan, Shewa Robit, all are under military control. Fano fighters are now in the outskirts. They're in small towns, villages, in forest mountains, but they're still there. In Anchokia, Gamza district, they are there. If you remember, a few days ago, Anchokia Gamza police chief was assassinated by Fano fighters. So Fano fighters still there, keeping themselves organized in the outskirts of main town cities. Road open, Dassi to Debre Birhan to Addis Ababa road open for traffic. No large-scale attacks by Fano fighters along this road. Shewa Fano is surviving. Shewa Fano could not repel major counteroffensive from Oromia when it was in control of Shewa Robit and Debre Birhan. But it has managed to survive and keep its capabilities intact. It is still in control of several towns, villages in North Shewa zone. Thank you for watching.